हिंदी के पेपर में मेरे को ये रहेगा कि हाउ विल आई प्रिपेयर फॉर एसएसटी, एंड साइंस के पेपर में ये रहेगा कि हाउ हैज माय पेपर गॉन। एंड स्ट्रेस में हम स्ट्रेस ही लेते रहते हैं हम। लाइक आई आल्सो यूज्ड टू क्राई समटाइम्स। तो हम
दैट इज एकेडमिक्स का स्ट्रेस ना किसी को भी हो सकता है, ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है कि एकेडमिक्स का स्ट्रेस खाली उन बच्चों को होता है जो एवरेज स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं या जो बिलो एवरेज होता है जिनको चीजें आती नहीं है। मैसेज राइट, इफ वी डू इट इन द करेक्ट वे देन कंसंट्रेशन कैन ऑटोमेटिकली बी बिल्ट अप, राइट? वी
यस
डिड नॉट इवन टॉक, वी डिड नॉट टॉक अ सिंगल वर्ड, हमने एक वर्ड नहीं बोला कंसंट्रेशन के बारे में, करेक्ट? बट
यस
वी ended up having huge concentration, not a single instance of stress on that particular day, right? So, hello everyone. Today, I'm very excited to introduce Prakhar Bansal. So, one of my students, one of my mentees. Um, how should I introduce him? One and a half. It was 1.5 year ago. 2022 summer camp. I conducted a summer camp. So, उस summer camp में, it was an offline summer camp where some 20 odd students were sitting. और उन 20 बच्चों में मैंने एक क्वेश्चन पूछा at the beginning of the session, and the question was, आप लोग एज अ स्टूडेंट क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम्स फेस करते हैं? दिस इज जनरली व्हाट आई आस्क. सो ऑल द स्टूडेंट्स वर आस्क्ड टू राइट top 3 problems, and out of those top 3 problems, they just listed, and then we carried on the program. The program went on by 2 hours, and we did the speed and accuracy session on that particular day. After the end of the session, one student approaches me and he asks me, sir, you asked us to write 3 top problems that you face, but you did not discuss anything about them. What was the purpose of those 3 problems? So I understood probably he wants to talk about his problems. So I asked him, okay, what is the biggest problem, top 1 problem that you face? He said, stress in studies. I face a lot of stress in studies. So I asked him, did you face any stress in the last 2 hours? And I could see that huge brightness, huge smile on his face, and that smile answered, yet he said no. Now this is the interesting journey of Prakhar Bansal. So hi Prakhar, how are you doing now?
हेलो सर, आई एम वेरी गुड।
Yeah, so what was that, so Prakhar, I described the incidents, when we had our first session, and during that camp when you approached me. तो आप मुझे ये बताओ कि आपका क्या एक्सपीरियंस रहा था उस पर्टिकुलर कैंप में, एंड व्हाट वाज द टेक अवे फ्रॉम दैट एंटायर कैंप, द फर्स्ट कैंप?
सर फर्स्टली आई डेवलप द क्यूरियोसिटी दैट इट कैन रियली हेल्प, एंड मेरे को रियलाइज हुआ कि इफ वी वर्क ऑन समथिंग विद फुल कंसंट्रेशन देन देयर विल बी नो स्ट्रेस। Sometimes what happened with me that I just look at the syllabus and get full of tension. So that we should not do, and we should simply work on our loopholes.
यस, एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट, आपने बहुत सही बात बोली है कि कंसंट्रेशन, राइट? देखो कंसंट्रेशन, तो अगर हम देखें तो मैंने आपको उस दिन स्पीड एंड एक्यूरेसी सिखाया, लेकिन स्पीड एंड एक्यूरेसी के साथ साथ आपने एक मैसेज और लिया. दो वी वर डूइंग सम मैथमेटिक्स स्पीड एंड एक्यूरेसी कॉन्सेप्ट्स, बट यू टुक अनदर मैसेज. if we do it in the correct way, then concentration can automatically be built up, right? we
Yes, sir.
did not even talk we did not talk a single word, हमने एक वर्ड नहीं बोला concentration के बारे में, correct? But
Yes.
we ended up having huge concentration, not a single instance of stress on that particular day, right? Good. So and as we discussed, you got some inspiration that day. तो आप सबको बताना चाहोगे कि what was the inspiration and what was the curiosity that you had?
Sir, I had the inspiration that I can remove stress from my studies and score better marks. In fact, yes, I really scored better marks, but with no stress. And
Hmm. Correct. And I forgot to mention one more thing special about Prakhar. I mean, it is not that Prakhar is an average student or a below average student. Rather, he is a top performing student. He has always been scoring A grades. He's one among the toppers in his classes, as far as I understand. Is that correct, Prakhar? Is my understanding
yes,
correct?
yes, sir.
Yeah. And he also has been making some science models, and has won a prize in his school about that. Despite all that, there was one thing, that is academics का stress ना किसी को भी हो सकता है, ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है कि एकेडमिक्स का स्ट्रेस खाली उन बच्चों को होता है जो एवरेज स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं या जो बिलो एवरेज होते हैं जिनको चीजें आती नहीं है, राइट? अभी वो स्ट्रेस के रीजंस बहुत सारे हो सकते हैं। स्ट्रेस, मैं अभी उन रीजंस में, अभी दिस इज रियली नॉट द टाइम, मे बी सम अदर टाइम आई विल क्रिएट अ डेडिकेटेड वीडियो ऑन व्हाट आर द रीजंस ऑफ स्ट्रेस और क्यों ए ग्रेडर्स को भी स्ट्रेस हो सकता है, राइट? दैट विल बी ऑल टुगेदर अ डिफरेंट टॉपिक। रादर अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं, आपको आपका क्या रीजन था स्ट्रेस का?
और बहुत सारा सिलेबस कंपाइल्ड अब जब हो जाए तो दैट यूज टू क्रिएट अ लॉट ऑफ स्ट्रेस। एंड जब मेरे पास टेक्निक ना हो कि हाउ आई हैव टू लर्न द थिंग्स एंड हाउ टू गेट इट डन, तो तब मेरे को बहुत स्ट्रेस होता था।
राइट, तो चीजें कंपाइल हो रही हैं क्योंकि इसका मतलब शायद एफिशिएंसी उतनी अच्छी नहीं है, करेक्ट? So then comes like I still remember when we started, even in during that summer camp, and later on, I think you approached me approximately 1 year later, and 1 year later we connected again, wherein जहाँ पे प्रखर ने मुझे अपनी curiosity बताई that he actually wants to learn how do I really beat my stress and how do I really gain that high level of efficiency that we had discussed in that camp. सो ही टुक एन इंस्पिरेशन, जिसके लिए बाद में 1 साल बाद उसने मुझसे रिकनेक्ट किया। एंड आफ्टर 1 year what we started with was we started with a high efficiency program, right? The speed and accuracy, and which is part of our learning transmission program. So this is our flagship program, the learning transmission program. So we conducted in a one-to-one mode the learning transmission program. And first, we talked about the speed. We worked on building speed in mathematics. So, Prakhar, even you wanted to handle how do I handle a lot of big stuff in SST? Yet we started with mathematics and we started with how to handle speed. So, how did that help? Probably you were not thinking of improving something in mathematics because you were already scoring A grades in mathematics. But how did it help you when we worked upon speed and accuracy thing?
But as I told that I didn't have any strategies. So like how you made me work on mathematics helped me to devise some strategies. So that was very helpful. Like I have four subjects in SST: economics, geography, history, and political science. So how to prepare for all the subjects and how to go to cover all the topics, subtopics, and everything. What is important, what is not.
Hmm, correct. So did it also help you in the academics? Let's say we did speed and accuracy in mathematics. Did it also help you in the mathematics per as a subject?
Yes,
If we
sir.
talk about the performance, like many students, like all the students are, like most of the students, I should say, are concerned about the performance in examinations. Most of the parents are concerned about the performance in examinations. So did that help you in examination performance also?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, like I was able to complete all my syllabus, and specifically in maths and somewhat in science, I reduced my silly mistakes and made it almost negligible.
Oh,
Like I
wow.
had no silly mistakes in maths examination this year, and only a few in science.
Oh, are you saying that speed and accuracy helped you reduce your silly mistakes?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Oh, that's great. I mean, silly mistakes is a term that generally is used for the those students who score average marks, like those
Mhm.
who score 70-80% marks. So they commit a lot of silly mistakes. As someone who is already scoring 90% plus says, आप भी silly mistakes कर रहे थे and you could reduce that. So that's a big thing I'm telling you. Okay. So that means you could reduce silly mistakes in mathematics. That's the first thing. Now your biggest, as I understand, जो जब हमने ट्रेनिंग किया था, तो मुझे याद है कि आपने मुझे बताया था कि एसएसटी आपके लिए बहुत बड़े स्ट्रेस का रीजन है। इट गिव्स यू द बिगेस्ट स्ट्रेस, राइट? सो हाउ डिड यू डील विद दैट स्ट्रेस? वी डिड दैट सुपर मेमोरी फॉर्मूला, राइट?
Mhm.
तो हाउ डिड सुपर मेमोरी फॉर्मूला actually help you in managing SST, and actually how did it help you?
So like SST has a vast syllabus.
Yeah.
Almost like I had 12 syllabus, 12 big chapters. And so what I did was I marked the important points. First of all, I read all the mind maps. So that gave me a overall overview of the chapter. Then I looked for some most important points. I first learn the subtopics. Then I learned its explanation. So that way that it helped me a lot, and that was you taught me in the this program.
Hmm. So you could go in a phased manner and do things one by one, and
Yes,
the
sir.
active recall stuff you could
Yes, sir.
use. Right. अच्छा चलो ये तो सब बात ठीक है, आपने कैसे इंप्रूव किया, कैसे गेन किया। वो जब स्ट्रेस होता है ना, आप मुझे उसके बारे में कुछ बता सकते हो कि यू नो जिस टाइम स्ट्रेस हो रहा है तो वो कैसी सिचुएशन होती है एज अ स्टूडेंट, और वो कैसे इम्पैक्ट करती है लाइफ की बाकी सारी चीजों को।
Sir, stress बहुत मतलब it is a thing which affects us a lot. So like I have my SST पेपर और उसके पहले हिंदी का पेपर है, उसके अगले दिन साइंस का पेपर है। तो
हम्म।
हिंदी का पेपर भी इफेक्ट होएगा, सोशल साइंस का भी, और अगले दिन साइंस का पेपर भी, क्योंकि हिंदी के पेपर में मेरे को ये रहेगा कि हाउ विल आई प्रिपेयर फॉर एसएसटी, एंड साइंस के पेपर में ये रहेगा कि हाउ हैज माई पेपर गॉन। एंड स्ट्रेस में हम स्ट्रेस ही लेते रहते हैं। हम लाइक आई ऑल्सो यूज टू क्राई समटाइम्स। तो हम वी यूज टू डू दिस थिंग्स बट वी डिड नॉट स्टडी।
हाँ, ओ माय गॉड, दैट इज अ बिग थिंग, राइट। मतलब एक पेपर पहले वाला खराब हो गया, एक पेपर बाद वाला खराब हो गया, उसमें भी एसएसटी के बारे में सोच रहे हैं, उसमें भी एसएसटी के बारे में सोच रहे हैं, इतना बड़ा स्ट्रेस। लेकिन ऐसा देखो, सुनने में ना ये बात हर किसी को डाइजेस्ट नहीं होगी, ऐसा कैसे पॉसिबल है। एक स्टूडेंट जो कि ए ग्रेडर है उसको एसएसटी में इतना स्ट्रेस आ रहा है, या एग्जाम में इतना स्ट्रेस आ रहा है, ऐसा पॉसिबल कैसे है।
लाइक ए ग्रेडर हूँ मैं, तो फिर मेरी हमेशा विश रहेगी कि मैं अपने मार्क्स को मेंटेन करूँ, कभी भी डी ग्रेड ना होने दूँ। So
राइट।
like if I score 75, I have to score 76 this time or 78, but not drop to 70s. So I have to for that I have to cover all the syllabus.
हाँ, एक और चीज मैं सबको बताना चाहूंगा कि एक्चुअली ऐसा नहीं है कि प्रखर ए ग्रेडर है तो उसके एसएसटी में मार्क्स कम आते हैं, राइट। दैट इज नॉट द केस। मार्क्स ही मैनेजेस, बट व्हाट ही कुड नॉट मैनेज वाज stress, right? So in order to get those 90% marks even in SST, he had to undergo a very stressful journey, roller coaster ride. तो इसको हमें कैसे देखना चाहिए प्रखर, लाइक अभी तुम इसको कैसे देखते हो कि पहले बहुत सारा स्ट्रेस लेकर हमें मार्क्स लाने पड़ते थे और वो मार्क्स आते थे लेस देन 90%। अभी भी मैं बोलता हूँ कि सेम मार्क्स आ रहे हैं, बट नाउ यू हैव टू अंडरगो लेसर स्ट्रेस।
Hmm.
हाउ डू यू सी।
Yes, sir. बहुत difference है. Like during stress, I used to feel that अभी syllabus बहुत सारा है, तैयारी बिल्कुल भी नहीं हुई. लेकिन when there is no stress, I feel that syllabus बहुत कम है लेकिन टाइम बहुत ज्यादा है. बिल्कुल opposite हो जाता है.
अच्छा, ऐसा लगने लगा है, ऑपोजिट होने लगा है कि सिलेबस कम है और टाइम ज्यादा है।
हाँ जी,
वाह।
कभी कभी हाँ, to some
कभी कभी
extent.
ठीक है,
Yes.
मैं मान रहा हूँ एग्जेजरेशन नहीं है, बट समटाइम्स सम डे इवन इफ यू गेट दिस फीलिंग जस्ट फॉर 5 मिनट्स, दैट्स अ गुड फीलिंग,
Mhm.
राइट। गुड टू फील लाइक दैट। बट अगर हम एक प्रैक्टिकल वे में बात करें तो मतलब बहुत मैनेजेबल सिलेबस लगने लगता
Yes, sir. Manageable. Earlier, I used to think it is not manageable, but it is
है।
manageable.
इट इज मैनेजेबल, इट इज द सेम सिलेबस, इट इज द सेम प्रखर, इट इज द सेम टाइम, सेम स्कूल, सेम एसएसटी, बट द सिचुएशन हैज चेंज्ड, राइट। Wow, that's good. And this is just the beginning, let me tell you. मुझे एक और स्टेटमेंट याद है, when I met your mother, so she told me, and I think you also told me कि ये तो ना बस वेट करता है कि कब एसएसटी जाएगी, कब 10th क्लास जाएगी, कब एसएसटी जाएगी, और I'll get relief in my life. The biggest pain in my life is social studies, because it is a vast syllabus. And how even you used to trouble her कि मुझसे सुन लो, just help me, just make sure that मुझे याद हो गया कि नहीं हो गया, all that kind of stuff. So any incidents you would like to share? uh,
Yes, sir. Sir, like it was the second last day, I believe, of the preparation time. So I had almost 5 to 6 chapters left, and that too very big. So I was not preparing for it. I was instead crying. That how will I do? My mother was trying to console me, but I was not getting consoled. I think I cried for a half an hour. Then my mother, like she consoled me. She told me that study instead of crying. That will not help.
hmm.
That was that thing I will always believe. I will always believe that we should rather like crying on a left out subject and syllabus. We should start studying for it. That is not the way.
Wow. Any message you would like to give all the students, because uh, इसको मैं कैसे देखता हूँ प्रखर, like what does it remind me, any achiever who has achieved great things in his life or her life. So any achiever, ना हर एक अचीवर को ना एक स्ट्रगल के फेस से गुजरना पड़ता है. ऐसा लग सकता है कि यार ये तो ऑलरेडी बहुत अच्छी पोजीशन में है, लेकिन वो कहाँ स्ट्रगल कर रहा है वो वही जानता है. द वेयर नो वेयर द शू पिंचेस. So you had this struggle, and you came out as a winner from this struggle. I can simply say that because when you called me yesterday and you said that this time I had no stress, I said, wow, this calls for making a case study, and I must record a case study because I want others to be inspired because of your case study, because this is what we do. We read many success stories and we get inspired. Similarly, I want many students to watch this success story and get inspired by you. Now, the last thing I would like you to do is, can you give a message to all the students, those who have been struggling, whether they have been scoring A grades or B grades or C grades, doesn't matter. But whatever they're doing, wherever they're doing, whatever is the level of their struggle, a message for those students so that they get an inspiration from you.
तो मेरा मैसेज यही है कि चाहे जितना भी सिलेबस हो, इट कैन बी अचीव्ड within a defined time limit. Like if there are 3 days, we can easily manage to uh, learn all the syllabus and cover it up. But what we have to do is that we do not have to like randomly look for any chapter and start learning it. We have to define a time limit for everything and study with a strategy. Strategy helps a lot. Like if we have 10 chapters, then we should divide the time according to its difficulty level. That chapter 1 will take 2 hours, chapter 3 will take 3 hours. So we should define the time limit and then study with a strategy, because strategy helps a lot, and it has helped me a lot. We should
Wow.
not randomly look for, like, if I find chapter 5 easier, I will go for it. If I find chapter 7 difficult, then I will not go for it. Something which appears difficult is because we don't know it. Once we know it, then it is very easy.
Wow, that would really help them. I think strategy is one big thing, right? And one can build strategy, one can learn to build strategies, when we get a hold of things. अगर मुझे ये पता ही नहीं है कि भाई ये चैप्टर को कंप्लीट करने में कितना टाइम लगेगा, that's one big thing, प्रखर. मैं बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट से पूछता हूँ, अच्छा मुझे बताओ ये चैप्टर कंप्लीट करने में कितना टाइम लगेगा, एंड दे आर लाइक, हाउ डू आई नो, आई डोंट नो, राइट? ये मैथ्स का चैप्टर करने में कितना टाइम लगेगा, नहीं पता. ये एक्सरसाइज करने में कितना टाइम लगेगा, नहीं पता. So when they are clueless about how much time will it take to complete one particular chapter, that's one biggest flaw that they do. At least first start something using which you can understand and estimate the time required for each chapter. And
Yes.
obviously, to have one strategy is the biggest thing. All right, so I wish you good luck, Prakhar.
Thank you.
And मैं आपको ये बोलूंगा, this is just the beginning, right? Don't take it as like a big achievement. Definitely it's a big achievement, but every big achievement, embarks a new journey. So now the actually you reach the next level. It's
Yes, sir.
not the attainment of something, it is the beginning of the next level, right? You had a struggle, you overcame that struggle, now you reach the next level. Now from this level you have to start a fresh journey, and you should set a higher target, you should set a higher goal. That's what I will tell you. So wish you all the very best for your career and for your studies. And we'll stay in touch and we'll keep exploring more and more exciting things. All
Thank you,
right.
sir.
Bye.
Yeah.
All the best. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Bye.